One thing that I really had to do after Yara was born is I got into therapy because I really it was hard for me to really reconcile this new version of myself because it felt like I lost all of my freedom.
Hi, I'm Kelli.
And I'm Danni.
Welcome back to the ProCreatives Podcast for moms who make things.
The podcast for moms and future moms who are navigating their creative careers as they raise their little inspirations. Today's guest is a filmmaker drawn to magical elements such as sci-fi and fantasy, which we can all admit is a mother superpower.
And she shares her passion for storytelling as an incredible filmmaker. We're going to dive right in so that you know all that you need to know, as much as you can know, about Huriyyah. She is an award-winning director, writer, and producer whose projects have been invited to many prestigious festivals like Sundance Film Festival, Tribeca, Outfest, American Black Film Festival, and her work has been selected by the Criterion Collection. She is a 2024 HBO Short Film Competition winner, a 2024 SeriesFest winner, a Sundance Creative Producing Award winner, and an alum of the prestigious AFI Directing Workshop for Women and the Film Independent Episodic Directing Initiative.
All right. Ooh. Her work invites audiences to take the journey with her as she tackles tough subjects, death, divorce, eviction, with humor and heart. Her sci-fi digital series, Keloid, has become a cult favorite, winning at multiple festivals, and her fantasy shorts, Outgrown and Wonders, both won multiple Best Short and Best Cinematography awards. Her Excellence in Storytelling Awards at the SeriesFest 2024 for her intergenerational short, Nani's Biranis, yes, I said it right, was the first of its kind. Her most recent directorial project, Chocolate with Sprinkles, the 2024 HBO Short Film Competition winner, is a heartwarming, life-affirming tale inspired by memories growing up in her family's Cleveland, Ohio donut bakery.
Now, we know that bio is thicker than peanut butter, okay?
And we love every bit of it.
We do. But as busy as she is as an artist, she strongly believes in community, and she went ahead and put that belief into action by co-founding the Black TV and Film Collective. But last but not least, she does her best work as a loving wife and mother. We present to you the incredible, the wonderful, the amazing, the awesome Huriyyah Muhammad. Welcome to the table.
Wow, that was pretty cool.
That was you. That was you.
Thank you both for that really awesome introduction. Wow, that makes me feel really awesome.
You're welcome. You did that. We're just letting everybody know how incredible you are, and I think it's such a beautiful thing, and the stories that you tell are just so literally heartwarming. They make you laugh, they make you cry. They are just so touching. We're going to get into more about why those stories matter so much to you, but we always want to lead with mom. We know that you're an award-winning writer, director, producer, but mom is not always something that is brought to the forefront, especially in the entertainment industry. So we want to hear about your journey to motherhood and find out kind of what was it like? Was it something you always wanted? Did your perspective change as you navigated your life and decided to become a mom? But what was that journey like for you?
Wow, that's a really great question. I always grown up imagining I would have a little girl who would be like a little mini me. And I was like, if she wants to be president of the United States, she's going to be president of the United States, which is why it's so amazing now to see Kamala running and potentially being in a really great place to win. I just was, having lived into that experience. But I said, oh, if she wants to be an amazing artist, she can be an amazing artist too. Like whatever she wants to do, I'm going to support her in that endeavor. And that was probably Huriyyah's thinking in her 20s and her and then I got to my 30s and I was like, well, I don't know if I'm actually going to become a mom because I'm really, focused on my career. I'm really focused on my dreams and my goals and where I'm trying to go. in life, and I don't know how it's going to happen because working in the entertainment industry, there's no set path. There, you don't go to school for 8 years or X amount of years and then come out and start a residency or start a whatever to
Right.
start to get your foot
Right.
in the door in your career. Everybody's journey is so different, and it takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of determination. It takes really you spending years working on your craft. And then it takes some luck, after you've done all of those things. For most people, for me, it did. Some people really, are like lightning in a bottle, and their path is a lot shorter. But my path, I worked at it a long time. And so I started to believe that I was not ever going to have children and also never going to get married, because I was like, I'm never going to stop. And that's going to be an impediment in any kind of relationship. At least I had seen that thus far in the relationships that I had been in. People would say, you act like you're a single person. When you say you got to fly to LA for for a month, you just tell me. You don't ask me what I think about it. You don't ask me how I feel about it. You just say, hey, these are my dates and I'll be back, and you move like a single person. And when someone said that to me, I was like, yeah, you're right, because I'm not going to stop. So I never thought I was even going to get married. But then when I met my wife, she just changed my perspective on all of this, and that was me in my 40s. I had lived my way into a time where I really was ready for a serious relationship. I really was ready for, to expand my life and expand, and give more of my time and more of my energy, not just to my career, but towards building something else in a different area of my life. And my dreams became her dreams. And she really, really wanted a child. And at that time, I was like, we're good. You know what I mean? We're traveling all over the world. We're like both working at our careers. We're busy. Like, we're good. What do we need a baby for? But I was like, Huriyyah, who are you to deny this woman her desire to have a child? Like you are married, and you said you was going to support her along her journey in life. And it wasn't that I didn't want a baby, I just had stopped thinking that I was going to have one, so I had to reorient my thinking. And then we went through the process of IVF, which was a really, really long process. It was
Challenge.
like
Oh,
2 years. And the first time that we actually got pregnant, my wife miscarried. And at that time, I was making a movie, and I was praying like up until that time, I had been praying for my movie, like, Lord, please let us find these financiers. Lord, please, let these actors sign on for this movie. Lord, please. And I never was really praying for a baby. And then after she miscarried, I said to my wife, I was like, I was like, I'm praying for my movie, but I'm not even praying for a baby. Like, what is this? We're about to bring a life into this world. And, and I asked her the same thing, like, were you praying for this? And so we had to really like stop and really like lock in and really focus on what we were trying to do in terms of bringing a child into this world, and really start praying about it and really get into alignment, with our spirituality, and just thinking about our life. And then when we did that, my wife became pregnant with Yara. And man, I'm so thankful to my wife, and I'm so thankful to God that God allowed us to have a child, because I'm just such I think I'm a better human being. I know I am, because of the fact that I'm a mom. I have so much more empathy for just, myself, and more patience. And I just look at the things that I judge myself for. And I realized that, Huriyyah, you just didn't know. And I was able to realize that by looking at my daughter, because I see my daughter, like, if I, when she was first born, if I held up a pencil in front of her, she wouldn't be able to tell you what a pencil was, because she hadn't lived into that experience. Like,
Right.
everything, she's like a little alien. Everything is totally new. And it's the same thing with life. If you don't have an experience in something, it's totally foreign to you. It's totally new to you. So you just don't know. And you have to do the best that you can with what you have. And just watching her and her, exuberance for life, her excitement, watching her blossom. It's just the best feeling in the world. And I'm just so thankful and grateful, that to her, and also to her and to God.
No, but so you talk about that. You said you wanted, initially you did. You had the dream of becoming a mom. But then you said, you know what? I'm not stopping. You're going ahead. You're going to pursue. Did you ever have some kind of like, did you have any regret when you said, okay, no, I'm just going to pursue my career? Did you ever feel like that longing, or did you like push it down? Do you think you like suppressed it because you knew you had a plan and you had a goal and you just were like going?
Nope, 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 nope. I never like
You made your mind
I
up.
never, yeah, I made my mind up, and that's just what it
Wow.
was. Because I'm a Capricorn. We're a realist. You know what I mean? I'm like, how am I gonna afford a baby? Babies are expensive. You know
You
what
were
I'm saying?
you were looking
Like,
at the numbers. That's right. And I
yeah,
think a lot of us do that. I did that with my husband. We were like, when we first got married, everybody was the first, the first year, they're always talking about, oh, when you gonna have babies? And I'm like, can you get out my bedroom? We not having none right now. And it took us a while because we weren't rushing. And I remember because my husband was going back to school, he was going to school part-time. And we just was like, we don't want to bring and he said it to me clearly. He said, I don't want to bring a child into the world. And we're struggling. We can't take care of the child. We can't take, and some people don't have that option and they just make it do and they go with it. But when you have that option, you really try to make what you think is the best decision. Um,
yeah,
but ultimately, as you can see, when you have the child, the times come, the money comes, you
yeah,
make the
yeah,
adjustments. Like my mom always says, the milk comes. When the baby comes, the
yes, it
milk
does.
comes. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
that's crazy. I said to her, that's crazy. I'm not trying to have no baby just so,
yeah, yeah,
and the
it's
milk
true.
come. But it's true though,
Yeah.
like you said, you won't know until you have the experience, until you get in there. And once you get locked in that motherhood mode, like you just
Mm-hmm.
like, I got this. Like
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out.
sometimes you figure it out. You bobbing and weaving, doing the best that you can and making it work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I remember when she was so little, and my wife would when we were nursing, my wife was nursing, and I would hold her at night, and I would just lay with her on my chest, and I would just be like, oh Lord, and I would be so sleepy, like just
Yeah.
exhausted, and I would just say, Lord, please don't let me drop this baby, please don't let me drop, you know what I mean? Like, don't let me ruin this child's life
We
before
know.
she,
Yes.
even get it started. You know what I mean? Crack skull. I mean, no, please don't let that be our experience.
Oh
And I would
Lord,
just
the
be so
fear of
tired.
that.
But like now looking at where she is now, like she's 3, about this her 4. I'm like, where did the time go?
Oh,
Like
but I'm
it
sure you're
feels like
glad
I
she's
just
sleeping through the
blinked.
night now, aren't you? That you ain't got her on your
Yeah, but she's
chest.
sleeping in our bed, so she
Well,
got to
yeah.
get
Oh
out.
Lord.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
she got to
I
get
cannot
out.
even offer you any like hope because
Uh-huh.
they still go to bed in their bed and we have to like put them there. And then in the night, you come and I'm like, they're getting bigger. So I'm
That's
like,
exactly what
you're
happens.
pushing me out my bed. So I told my husband today, I said, we need to get a king size bed because if they're going to come in here, I still need my space. But I was
Yeah.
told it don't matter. They still going to
Yeah.
be in your space.
It doesn't matter.
They don't.
What you do is you send them back.
Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
my
Oh,
God.
there
You
she goes.
you
I
escort
try.
them,
I
tried and true. You
but I hate
send
getting
them
up. I
back.
be tired.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know it. Shout out to my husband because half the time he's the one who sees the kid. And it's always one kid that loves this moment.
Wow.
But you send them right back to you escort them into their space and you give them all their creature comforts. And I don't know. Best of luck to both of you. Okay.
Please, just pray for us, okay?
That's all I
Yeah,
can
just pray
offer.
for us, please.
Because we
That's all I can
struggling.
offer. It is such a challenging thing though, because you're right,
Yeah.
that being a parent, it opens up a whole new world of concerns that you've never thought of.
Yes.
um and as it pertains to your work, obviously you go from having this kind of freewheeling, intentional, focused life as it pertains to your career, and now you've introduced this person who needs all of your time, all of your energy, who doesn't care what time you have to be on set, who doesn't care, about your writing goals or anything like that. So I guess and thinking about that, like how has being a mom influenced you and the way that you approach, storytelling and even the projects that you choose to take on?
Uh, you know, well, my daughter said something to me that really just made me feel so great. Yes, like maybe last week, we went to the DC Black Film Festival where we screened Chocolate with Sprinkles. So she got a chance to see it again. And she's seen it so many times because I have an editing bay upstairs in my office. And so she often comes in there when I was editing. Me and my editor would pass it back and forth and I would make little adjustments, etc. And I was taking her to school and she said, I just unprompted, Mama, I really love your movie. And it just made
Oh
me
my
feel so
God.
great. I mean, because I was away from her so much last summer making the movie, and I hate being away from her. I hate being away from home. And it's just a reality of the career that I have that I'm going to be gone, for long stretches of time sometimes. And it really makes me so sad. That's why she's home today because, she's pulling on my heartstrings
She
because
sure is.
I have to leave and go to LA for the month of September. And I'm feeling it already. Like I'm feeling so sad. And so when she's like, Mama, I want to come home, I'm like, come on, girl, get your stuff, let's go. You know?
What you want to do? You want to go do ice cream? You want to go to theme park? Whatever you want. Listen, I don't have. I think that's okay. And Kellyanne talks about that. Kelly talks about that, like where she like, does things and make sure she plans ahead of time. She lets the kids know, and then they do things together. Try to connect before the trip. Just and they understand. Yeah,
And
it's
and
challenging.
one of a woman that I greatly respect and admire, Felicia D. Henderson. We were at the American Black Film Festival, and I brought Yara and my daughter's named Yara and Crystal came, my wife, and Yara was just clinging to my leg the whole time, and it just made me feel so good to have her there. And I said just offhandedly, I said to Felicia, I was like, it makes me feel so guilty being away from her. And Felicia said, that she's going to understand what it takes in this world.
That
When
part.
she's going to understand what it takes, what hard work is, what determination is, what it means to go out and, pursue your goals and do meaningful work in this world. She's going to understand that because of you, because of your example. And I'd never thought about it like that. And it really made me feel a lot better because I do feel a lot of guilt about being away from home, and away from her.
But you are doing good work. And I totally 100% agree with that. Kelly and I was just talking about that, they seeing us. Kellyanne said something. She said, your children need to see your completed work. And that
Mhm.
stood with me. And I was like, they need to see you complete things. And I said, oh, because, as creatives, we get pulled in and we want to start things. But when she said complete things, I'm like, yes, that means I have to follow through. I need to show the steps. They need to see what it takes so that when they eventually grow up and do their things, they don't think it's like the movies, like next scene and then
Yeah.
it happens. It
Yeah.
takes like between scenes, there's work.
Yes, yes, there is. There's a process, when you have to follow through on the process, So yeah, it makes me feel good. And even to your question, Kellyanne, about like why I do the type of stories I do, because I want all of my films to make you feel like you got a hug at the end, and it really goes back to my childhood. Like some of my happiest memories were us sitting around as a family watching, movies together. I remember, my mom and my dad, they had a donut bakery in Cleveland. And they worked all the time, and we all did, in fact, because my parents had free labor and their 8 children, so.
Of course. Of course.
But on Saturday nights, my mom would stop at the video store, and we would go around and pick out movies. And movies like, there was this one movie I'll never forget. It's called The Boy Who Could Fly, and it's literally about this little boy who could fly, and his little connection he had with his next door neighbor. And my mom had to have seen that movie like 20 some odd times because every time we went to the video store, that's the movie we would pick out. But she would sit there with us and we would sit there and laugh and watch that movie like it was the first time we ever saw it, and it was just movie like Beaches, and it was just such a happy time, and I want to recreate that experience for my daughter. I want us to be able to sit around and watch my movies together. And I want other families to be able to sit around and watch movies together that the whole family can enjoy. That is something there for grandma, that is something there for, the youngest, for the parents. It's something there that everybody can take from and can enjoy as a family. And that makes me feel good, knowing that I'm putting that type of work out in the world. And also, I mean, we just need more positive, uplifting stories.
Thank
Like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
we
we
Yes.
do.
just we just do. I mean, if I want to be sad and depressed or scared or anxious or angry, all I have to do is scroll through my Instagram feed, like seriously,
Right.
like when I want entertainment, I
Yeah.
want it, I want something that's gonna make me feel hopeful and
Yes.
inspired and
Yes.
encouraged. And I want to go to sleep not having nightmares because of the
That.
thing that I just watched,
Right. So true. Oh my God, that's so funny. You're absolutely right. And I'm sorry. I talk about it all the
Hilarious.
time too.
Hilarious.
It's true though, because I always say that, and I know some people really love like that site, like they like the horror. I'm like, I'm not watching that before I go to bed because I really
Mm-mm.
I feel like you can internalize those things, and I really don't need any help in the anxious. I don't need anything that makes me anxious, nothing that makes me scared. I don't need any of that. I have places to
Mhm.
go. I don't need anything manifesting in any kind of ways because it's just
Mhm.
not going for me.
My wife, she still says she wished she had never watched The Last of Us. She's like, I think about that every week,
Oh,
and not in a good way. I mean, and I've never
Oh
seen it. I've never seen it, but she's like, it was so good, but at the same time, it was so disturbing.
no. Sometimes some
yeah.
things hit you, it's
I
with the
can't even,
reality.
and even in this world, it's things just increasingly seem like they're going
I
a
think
specific
reality is good
direction.
enough. Like in my
Yes,
opinion,
Yeah.
yes,
I don't need I don't need any more help.
yes, yes. Listen, no.
And I'm so grateful for your things. I know Danielle has a question, but I am so grateful that you're you're talking about uplifting stories. And obviously, a lot of your films feature, people of color. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Um, and we need more of that. So I just want to stop and just say thank you for putting and
Yes,
contributing.
thank you.
I know you have many shorts, but I'm looking forward to that feature film that potentially is on the way.
Yeah,
She's trying to
yeah.
pull on
Well,
your ear. Look at her trying to get some information.
uh-huh. I see. I see. I see. I am working on a couple of features actually. But I don't have at this time like a one feature that is like burning to like that I'm working on right now. I have been waiting for that to really hit me in my core, like what that feature is. There's a couple of different stories that I'm exploring. And then also I'm open to screenplays that are written by other people. Like I had a really great experience with Nani's Biryani. I did not write Nani's Biryani. That was a project that I was commissioned to direct. And that's about a South Asian kid who is 13 years old and he wants to be, Instagram or social media famous and he wants to, these food hacks. He wants to make these videos about food hacks and it just goes terribly wrong, and it's an intergenerational story. It's a story about family. And I had a really great time directing that film. And I really connected with it on a personal level because even with work that you don't write, you just have to find your way into it and find, what is it about this story that hits you in your core and what is it that connects with you personally. And I'm so open to directing the work of other writers. I think it's fun. I think that's what this industry is all about. And one of the biggest reasons why I love it is the collaborative aspect of things. It's like someone can have a vision and an idea and put that vision and idea down on paper and then someone else, a director, can say, oh man, I see this, in images and in music and, in so many different ways and translate it to something else. But then the actors are going to come and they're going to see something in the work that you didn't even see as the writer. And I had that experience with the very first film that I wrote. We produced it and the actors, it just gave me such a respect for actors that I had never had before. I was producing at the time. I was a writer and a producer. And of course, you need actors, of course, like you can't do it without them, so but I
Right.
was kind of thinking about them like almost like, the lights or the camera,
Mm.
and just seeing an actor come and take my words and find meaning in it that I didn't even intend as the writer was just such an illuminating, amazing experience. And ever since then, I'm like, yo, I love actors. I have so much respect for actors, you know?
Correct.
Um,
I think
and
people take it for
so
granted. They think that it's just like,
yeah.
oh, they're just doing this thing. But what you said, bringing this thing, it's a true art. It's an art form. And I think
Hmm.
it's been minimized because people just think it's easy, but
Hmm. Oh,
it's
it's
real
not
work.
easy.
It's
It's not
work.
easy. I'm taking an acting class right now, and
Oh.
listen, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. Trust me. I had to do a monologue yesterday. It was so terrible, but it was fun. It really was fun. You know what monologue I picked? I picked the monologue from The Incredibles with the villain's monologue
Yes.
where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
With
know
the
what I'm
guy
talking
with the
about?
F. You get the one with the F,
Yes,
and he's going
yes.
on and on about the, the meeting Mr. Incredible and all the things.
Yes, yes,
This
that's the
is
monologue I did.
hilarious.
The actor coach, the acting instructor, he was like, "What made you pick that monologue?"
He wanted you to pick something with some more emotional depth. But I think that dude was emotional though. I ain't
He
gonna lie.
really was.
He was.
He was going through it. He was going through it. But what was why did you pick that monologue? I mean,
I because I'm so busy and I just wanted to do something fun and that I could memorize the lines and I just watched the clip over and over again and I was able to memorize it. I watched it while I was taking Yara to school and it was fun and it was easy to memorize and that's what I did, you know? So,
wow.
and honestly, the reason that I took the class is to become a better director. You know, like when
Yeah.
I told my wife
Yeah.
that I wanted to take an acting class, she's like, "Oh my God, please don't tell me you're trying to become an actor." No.
Oh, she was like another thing to the schedule.
I was like, this poor woman, I'm traumatizing her. But it's, and we had to do an exercise where you guys have probably done this where you stand across from your scene partner and you have to say, I love you over and over and
Mm,
over again for like
mm,
2 minutes. And this is,
wow.
this white guy I'm standing across from, and I'm like, I love you. I love you. And I'm saying it over and over again. And you get kind of like, it almost is like a vortex that you guys go into.
Mhm.
And then when the instructor, paused us, I felt myself coming out of that vortex, and then we had to say I hate you. Oh no, we had to say F you, and we had to
Oh
say
Lord.
that over and over again.
Oh no.
It was a very, very interesting experience. It's been very interesting.
I love that you were in the zone. Okay.
You're
Yeah.
Very
in the
cool.
zone. And, that's what actors have to go into sometimes, especially I haven't played like a I don't want to play any type of serial killer or anything like that. I have no interest in that whatsoever. But
Mhm.
I think it is that you can go so in depth into a character that I don't know, maybe it takes a while for folks to even get out.
Oh yeah, for sure. For
Mhm.
sure. I've read about actors who have done that before, that they it takes them months, to really
Yeah.
fully come out of that character, Um, uh, Andra Day, when she did
Oh,
USB
Oh
Billie
yeah.
Holiday,
Oh yeah.
she
Hmm.
talked about, the experience of really finding that character and walking in that character, and then how long it took her to really come out of that.
Jackson.
It's just really amazing experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even, for example, remember when Christian Bale cussed out his DP on the set for walking across the set to fix a light while he was in the middle of a
In the
performance?
scene. Right, right.
You
Mm.
know, I do understand why people came down on him. Like, come on, man. But at the
Right,
same
because his
time,
people, but also he was in the zone and you
yeah, he
interrupted the
was in
zone.
the
Yeah.
zone. Yeah, I get that. I really do.
I think he didn't feel respected. He felt as
Mhm.
though you minimized what he was doing. And I think on both sides, I think we look at it as, oh, he was just being unkind and just, a little too much. But they didn't consider his opinion or his side. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It's a lot, but I'm glad that you're there taking the acting classes,
I
learning how
think
to
it's
be a
fun.
better director.
Yeah.
I would love a copy of that monologue of you performing it if you
Yeah,
have that
no, it was
available.
not recorded. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm gonna
Listen.
jump back into parenting because we gotta
Okay.
stay on topic.
Uh-huh.
Because I was looking at your short film, Chocolate with Sprinkles, like the one you took your daughter to see. And I love how you said you wanted to create things that your daughter could look back and, watch with you, right? Um, I feel like so in Chocolate with Sprinkles, the parents are like more like spectators as the children try to figure things out. And it feels so synonymous to parenting, right? You know,
Mhm.
I have joy in seeing my children try to figure things out under obviously our watchful eye. Now, was that intentional? Did you do it that way? Was that your thought process behind that?
It's amazing making a film because there's so much that just kind of comes
Happens.
together. Like,
Ah,
almost that you think about, but at the same time, you don't think about. Like, for example, the fact that Mary, she had on so much makeup. I just hated that, because I didn't see her before she came to set, and our makeup artist got COVID at the last minute and we had to replace our makeup artist. And then when she got to set, we were shooting on location. And so I wasn't at base camp. And then when she got to set, she had on all this makeup. I'm like, Mary is not going to wear all this makeup. But it was too late. We had to shoot. But
mhm.
then later on, someone said, oh, and yeah, she even got herself pretty that day and put on makeup and everything.
Mhm.
And I
Wow.
was like, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
That's exactly what I needed to happen.
Yeah, see, I was thinking about this. And so I have my daughter hanging on my arm right here.
Oh,
It's
hi, honey. We
Yeah, you
don't
got
see her really. Like when
yeah,
when you just look down, we saw her, but she's not in it.
yeah, because I have my virtual background up. But okay, here she goes. Here she is. Come on, you want to come in?
Come on
Say hi.
in,
No.
bring the babies. We love it.
Hi, I like your hair. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. So
Oh,
cute. Oh.
so I didn't, my intention was to have two planes, a plane where the parents were and a plane where the children were. And only at the end could those planes, really meet when the parents started to see eye to eye. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's a story about the parents, and it's a story about their relationship and a story about not worrying about what's going to happen with the children and trusting that they've done their job with the children. They've done, their job to the best of their ability with the
Yeah.
children, and that's going to work itself out. But you and I, what we didn't do was do our jobs with each other, and that's what we're
Mhm.
here to do right now.
Wow. Okay.
and I love that because okay, so I've been watching Bel Air, okay, and when I tell you the writers on that show have done their big one because
Mm,
there's so much nuance. I mean, I'm watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with my kids because I
mhm,
gotta give them the 90s
Culture.
joy. But I'm personally watching Bel-Air to kind of see, and it's helping me to see like the evolution and the depth that they're taking with the characters in this new iteration of
mhm,
Will Smith's story. And one of the things in this recent episode, I can't remember which, don't quote me, but Phil and Vivian they're having some marital issues, and Vivian
mhm,
basically says, "Look, the kids are going through it, but we're not right.
mhm.
We're not okay. Where our
Yeah,
relationship is not good. And I
yeah.
think that's the same type of thing that you're experiencing, and I think that well, the same type of thing that you share about in Chocolate with Sprinkles, and I think
Mhm,
it is something that as parents we have to navigate because it's so
mhm.
easy for our child to become the center of our relationship and our life.
Yes, yes.
But part of the reason why we have this podcast too is to showcase, hey, we're complex people. There's so
Yeah.
much more
Yeah.
Mhm,
to us to just being moms, just being parents. And so I love that your story highlights that. And we're seeing more of those conversations happening in
Yeah.
mainstream media, particularly with people of color. I have to say that piece,
yeah,
You have to
you
add.
know.
yeah.
But it is such a true struggle when you become a parent and you bring children into the fold.
Oh,
How does
for
our
sure.
relationship come through that? Because I'm not about to be
Yes.
looking at my spouse after the kids are gone to college like, what
We're
are we doing here?
strangers. Yeah, we're
Yeah, like who
That's not
strangers.
you?
happening. That's
Yeah,
not happening.
yeah.
So yeah, that's
I think
amazing
it has
that
to
you
be a constant, a constant focus, because
yeah,
it's so easy.
intentional.
Yeah, and honestly, growing up, my parents, they bickered so much that I wanted them to get a divorce. I was like, man, in my 9, 10-year-old brain, I was like, that's going to solve everything. Like, listen, y'all just get a divorce. I'm going to live with mom. And because dad is never going to have any food in the house. And
Oh,
we'll see
oh
each other
no.
at the shop. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
and I really wanted that for them. And it's now that I've lived myself into the experience where I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have my own
Mm.
business. I'm like, at the end of the night, I don't want to talk about anything. I want to fall into bed and go to sleep. I'm tired. Like we'll deal with this tomorrow,
Yeah.
and so I see my parents' relationship through a different lens and a different
Yeah.
perspective because now I've lived my way into those experiences,
Yeah.
so, and the film was my wish for them that they had a chance to really just not worry about the shop, not worry about the kids, just like, see one another, and trust me, I could have told the HBO version of their story, you know what I mean? But this is the Disney version of the story,
Oh my God. But you know what? I like how you said that, and when we see things from when as a child, and this happens to us all the time. We listen to a song that we used to listen to as a kid and we used to sing it and we grew up and we actually get the full, the nuances of it. We understand it like in its entirety. I think being a parent also allows you when you're growing up, you understand yes, you said what your parents went through, but you have grace for them and you see like, okay, and then you kind of understand why they didn't divorce, right? And your parents
Yeah,
did something, they worked together and they lived together. So like working together is not an easy thing. Some people
no,
just can't do it. That's too much of the spouse. I love you, but I love you on not so much. So,
yeah.
that probably could have been a side effect of working together, just it's all you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a different day and age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are just different. Marriages are
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Different
What men expect.
conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different conversations, different expectations, what men expect from their wives, what wives
Yeah.
expect from their husbands. It's just
Yeah.
different today, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 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 That's
Yeah,
so
I agree.
true.
I know it's 50-50 up in here.
And you know what? I think it's great. There's so much that even as my mom, after my parents separated, I was, young, but my mom did everything because I lived with her, right? And I saw it like that. So I saw it function as that. So having to, when I got married, learning how to like not do everything for myself, understanding that he's a capable person and he can do things and he has strengths and I have weaknesses. And then, just making sure that I don't like corner myself into that because then I remember one time saying, I'm so overwhelmed. And he's like, what else? What do you need? Like I wasn't vocal about it because I thought I had to carry it all. So it's so
Mhm.
important. And I'm so grateful for now that we're having these conversations and we're telling, we're being clear about okay, these are the things that I'm doing. I'm making mental lists. This is all the little things that I do. How can you help? Well, how can we share the load? Because we both work. So, and we both want to be with the children and we both want to rest. So let's find a way that one person is not overwhelmed and feeling underappreciated. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm so grateful
Mm.
to my wife, honestly, because I really consider her to be my secret weapon. I say that all the time because she is so giving and so understanding of the fact that, hey, you have this really awesome opportunity and you got to take it. The fact that I have to go to LA for a month. After that, I'm going to have to go upstate for for a month. And my wife really is like, she is that bridge, between, she's willing to I heard it said, but I can't remember the saying. But my wife she's just awesome and she's very, very supportive. And I try to be what she needs as well.
right.
We both need different things, but she gives me what I need and I try to give her what she needs as well, and we both really recognize that, this is a partnership, it's something that we're building, and we both have to bring different things to it and we both have to essentially take different things from it as well.
Do you have any specific like strategies or support system, like resources that you use, like that you guys use and that you can offer as suggestions to help navigate my work and all the things?
One thing that I really had to do after Yara was born is I got into therapy because I really was it was hard for me to really reconcile this new version of myself because it felt like I lost all of my freedom. Like I was, could come and go as I please, and then when my daughter was born, it just felt like it felt like, wow, all of my time is now dedicated to this child. And my best friend, she said to me, Huriyyah, this is the most she's ever going to need you in her life right now. And then as the time goes on, she's going to need you less and less and less, or in different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But right now, she can't even hold her head up. Like you have to hold her head up for her. She can't do anything. And so this is the most. So you're going to live your way into a different experience where she's going to need you in a way that is a different type of support, but it's less like intrusive on your time and all of that kind of stuff. But I really needed therapy for like a year and a half to really kind of help me navigate that transition. And it was very, very helpful. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, I got it. Now I don't need therapy. Then I had to kind of break up with my therapist. But
But it helps you. You know what? I'm an advocate for it because I think sometimes we don't know how to put into words what we're feeling. And then we also
yes.
need to get some understanding and then also somebody to tell us, hey, this is not forever. Right. And yeah, your
Hmm.
friends will tell you things. And I think a lot of times our friends and our family talk, but they're our friends and our family. You love me, you advocate for me. So you're going to tell me whatever. Right. That's what I think.
Yeah,
So when you go
yeah,
to a
it's very
therapist,
true.
yes, I'm paying you, but I'm not paying you to tell me yes. So you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you look to them as a professional, you respect their opinion, and they just provide different ways to navigate that because as they're understanding, as your friend said, this season won't last forever. She's going to need you
Hmm.
a little less and less. Yeah.
And
What do
everything, and one thing that I really appreciated about therapy is really coming to an understanding that there is no such thing as normal. Like there is no such thing as normal. Like everybody is different, so
Yeah.
there is no normal.
Yeah.
So I just really appreciated that. She's okay, honey. She's okay. She's okay. She's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Don't you get all
Oh.
your minutes in before September? Let her stay right.
no, I know, right? I know it's very true. I know it's very true.
So one question that I do want to ask, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff because we have to wrap up our
Wrap
convo.
up.
It's been so great. But I
Yeah.
do want to ask you, how do you personally handle moments when the demands of motherhood and your career as a filmmaker collide? I know you're getting ready to travel and all of leave your family, and that's one demand, but in the full scope, like how are you handling in that? Is that like saying no and being firm on the no that you have to say? Does it mean saying yes with caveats? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out to
Mm.
be honest. I know that it is in some respects we keep a very tight schedule. Like we put everything on our calendars. We put our meetings on our calendars. Like my wife and I, we share calendars. If there's something for Yara, it goes on our calendar. If something in the evening, it goes on our shared calendar. So it helps us to understand. And then also like, we just have a schedule like almost from morning to night except for the weekends, but even just sometimes on the weekends we have stuff on our calendar, and sometimes it's like, oh, I need to be out of the house, or I want, or my wife, she just trained for a 10K, ran a 10K, and there's a lot of training that goes into that, and it's like, okay, this is your goal, how do we put this on, how do we schedule this so you can make sure that you're prepared for your 10K or prepare for your certification or this class that you're taking or whatever. So,
Communication.
and then yes,
Yeah.
communication. And then also it is, like really, I honestly feel like I have to go easy on myself and remind myself to go easier on myself, because a lot of times I feel a lot of disappointment in myself that I'm not like going harder, like, or I'm not, doing X, Y, and Z, or I let this thing slip, or I didn't do this. And I feel bad about it because I'm like, I cannot afford to let opportunities pass by. I cannot afford to not go hard, 1,000% of the time, like I'm gonna have to pay for private school next year, so, but
Right.
I have to remind myself like, Korea, look, that's unrealistic. Like you have to give yourself grace, and you have to be
Absolutely.
okay with the understanding that what's for you is going to be yours, is not
Mhm.
going to pass you by, and you do make really great work. And it's coming. It's just coming. You can't dictate when it's going to get here. You just have to keep going. And that's that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Speaking to my life, Huriyyah. Wow, you got a video camera up in here or something? Oh,
Listen, we are
I
so
didn't.
we're they're so like our experiences are so similar, you know what I mean? Like we all are going through the same thing. Like my wife, she does the lawn and everything outside, and she gets down on herself sometimes when because there's weeds in the grass, she's like I need to get out there and weed, spray the weed stuff. And I'm like, and then we're walking, around our neighborhood and we're looking at other people's grass and it looks so pristine. And we're across the street from their lawns. And I'm like, honey, come on, let's cross the street and walk on the side of the street with their lawn. And then you get over there, and it's mad weeds over there,
There you
and
go.
it's just like we all in the same boat, but
Yes.
it just looks different. The further you are away from the situation, it looks
Mm.
different. But when you get up close on it and you really inspect
Yeah.
it, it's the same muck,
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, preacher.
That's the thing. You know what? It's so true because the other day I just
Very
saw
good.
a
Yeah.
post by a celebrity on social media, and she was just talking about some challenges she was having with her child, and she just mentioned it. She said people saw something, and they made the connection, and I was like, wow, like people keep forgetting that these celebrities are people. And they have children, and their children are still children. Just because they have more money doesn't mean that the children are not gonna whine. Doesn't mean that they're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
um, I do think social media can sometimes, yes, you say it can be depressing, but sometimes it can be so helpful to remind people that these are people. Please stop
Yeah,
putting them on a pedestal.
yeah,
Remember that they are still dealing with the same things. Their kids don't want to go to bed. Their kids, sleep in their
yeah,
bed,
yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
that
It's
you
yeah.
true.
coming out here affirming that for us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. One thing that kind of helps me is like, for example, when I get nervous about somebody that I have to talk to, or sometimes when I have an interview or something, like I was on a Zoom yesterday with a director that I'm going to be shadowing, and I was like, oh man, I want to, sure I make a good impression. Da, 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 da. I just imagine them like standing before God. And I'm like, he gonna have to stand before God the same way I am. Like, he's not gonna get any kind of special consideration because of the fact he did X, Y movie or Y movie. Da da da. He's gonna be and it makes me realize that all of this is just an illusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everything, all of this stuff is just, like, okay, this person had this career opportunity and was able to do da 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 da. But we're all just people. We're all just people.
we
Yeah.
are.
I love that. I love that reminder for all of us, because
Yeah.
especially I think in the entertainment industry, or maybe any industry, but I can only speak on what I'm in, is you're watching everyone's journey. And I think it's a lot easier to see other people's journeys, right? We're only able to see what we can see. And I think
Right.
that's why we want to have these conversations, so that we're reminding a community of women who are
Yeah.
moms that, like, hey, you're not alone. Like, we're all
Yeah.
moving forward in our respective lanes. I love something that Ava DuVernay says is, in your lane, there is no traffic.
Yeah.
So it's like we're all moving forward. And if you start looking at somebody else's lane, you're gonna crash. And if you start
Yeah.
looking in this else's lane over
Put
here,
them
you're gonna
blinders
crash.
on.
So, you know, focus in on the things that you have to do on watering your own lawn, as the phrase says. And if you can't water the lawn one week, I mean, baby, it's okay.
It
Yeah,
might
you know.
rain. It
Yeah,
might.
and I mean, I don't see anything wrong with with looking at the lane next to you, or the lane to your left or to your right to help pace yourself. You know what
Right.
I mean?
But don't
Because
pressure. Right, right.
sometimes we do need that person that's like setting the pace. If you're in a race,
Mhm.
you need that person that's going to hold the pace. And because listen, if you on a couch all the time, like that's
Right.
not good.
Oh
You know
no,
what
It's
I
not
mean?
that part
no,
too.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah,
no,
You're
you're
yeah.
right.
Or if you have that script that, you still working on for 8 years, like maybe just put it aside. I'm not saying that you're not going to do that movie, but just put it aside and allow some other creativity to flow through you, and you may see how another project enables you to finally do that other one that you've been working on for so long, so don't, so it's, I feel like, for me, like a lot of times it helps me to see, to look at, like, okay, how other people are progressing, because it helps me to kind of pace myself, but it's not about
That's a
a
healthy,
competition or an
yeah,
envious.
Yeah.
It's just,
right.
yeah, it's just to keep you, it's motivation to keep you going,
Yes.
And
Yes. And
also
I think
to
I
mind
agree with,
you,
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree with that. I think what happens is it's more so ends up being about competition and, oh, I haven't done this yet, instead of a motivation to like,
Right.
actually, you know what? If they can do it, like I can do it too.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
yeah,
encouraged. I'm encouraged,
yeah.
but often it ends up being the former and not necessarily the latter. But I agree with you for sure. I've been
It's a
inspired
perception.
by the people around me, have really inspired me to just like keep pushing, keep going, keep moving. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, that's a good motivation, right?
I like that because I think about it like if you're climbing a mountain, right? Let's say you're going into the clouds, but the person they're still going ahead of you, but you can't see beyond that. So you knowing that there's more up there, right? Because you can see the fog, you have to get through the fog, like, oh, there's more to get to. So I like that as looking at, you can still keep going forward. You don't have to stop. You can still stay in
Yeah.
your lane, but there's still ways to go.
Just one last like words of affirmation for a creative mom. It could be a one-liner, bop, 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 something that folks can just take with them as they go. You've said so many things, but if you can condense it into just a couple words that moms can use for affirmation.
I think be kind to yourself and have faith that your voice has value, and that there's something that you have to say, that so many people are going to find value in. You just have to have the courage to just put yourself out there, make yourself vulnerable, and just, have faith that what's yours is coming for you.
Yes, I love that.
I love that. And I received that personally. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's for us first and then everybody else. Okay?
That's right. We take notes.
Kidding. It's for us all. It's for us all. Really quick, what's your favorite TV or movie that covers like motherhood, or that addresses motherhood, or that has a mom that you admire, whether real or fake?
Well, there's so many that I really love. Of course, Claire Huxtable is iconic.
The GOAT. We need to get her on the podcast, okay? The GOAT.
But I mean, then everybody loves Chris with Sachina Arnold.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's just amazing. That mom in that show was super fun.
Her.
I mean, a movie like even Stepmom, it was a tearjerker. With Julia Roberts and I forget the other actress name. I mean, a movie like Beaches. I grew up watching Beaches, and the two best friends, and centered around the friendship and the mom and her adopting her daughter. Let's see. So many.
You did good. You gave us a lot.
Great.
But you know what? I like that you mentioned Tashina Arlen and Everybody Hates Chris, because I think what I liked about the complexity of her was she was working, but she was also like, I don't need this job. My man will take care of me. So it was like the soft life. Like, she was working, but she also was enjoying the soft life because she had the cushion of like, I don't need this job. My man got 5 jobs.
It's true. And she loved her children. Like those 3 children, come on. And she kept them in line. She kept them fed.
They owned their building, right? They owned like apartment. She was working, but she was also like just a really all around good mom. I loved it. Yeah. That's a good mention.
That show was funny. Classic comedy. Yeah. Classic comedy. All right. And now we are going to wrap it up. Let us know how people can connect with you on social media, whether that's LinkedIn, Instagram, X, all the social media sites, to keep up with the work that you're doing. And how can other folks see your latest film, Chocolate with Sprinkles?
Because I can't find it.
It's on the festival tour right now. I gotta put that out.
Danielle, what city are you in?
I can't find it. I was looking.
In Miami.
I'm in
Oh, you're
Miami.
in
I
Miami?
missed it, and
You missed
I
it.
realized I missed it. I could have drove down there and watched it, but I didn't know.
Listen, it was a freaking, that weather was so terrible that week in
terrible.
Of course.
Miami.
Yeah.
So you would have, chocolate with sprinkles, chocolatewsprinkles.com. And on that page, you can see all of our upcoming festivals. On our festivals, we're going to be updating. We just found out that we're going to be screening in Chicago. We're going to be screening in LA. We're going to be screening in New York, I'm sure at some point. We're going to be
I'm about to
screening in
go.
Cleveland.
Okay.
Go to the website. We're going to be updating.
I'm
The
gonna catch a
website
flight.
is, yeah. But then also, Chocolate W Sprinkles is our Instagram at Chocolate W Sprinkles. And then I'm Huriyyah M. Wright on Instagram, and you can follow me there as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on the ProCreatives
Yeah.
Podcast. We
You're so
appreciate
welcome.
you. Oh my gosh. We look forward to more of your work, more joy, more Black joy, more Black love, all the great and wonderful things.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
This was so fun. Thank you so much for the invitation. And I'm such a huge fan of Kellyanne's as well. I really love her. And I really appreciate Kellyanne came and was on the Chocolate with Sprinkles crew helping us to
Yeah.
make this film. So, it was just a joy seeing her on set. It was just like such a great vibe on
It
set. And I
was.
really appreciated everyone who came together to help me make this film. And seeing her face on set every day, it just was like, okay, I'm surrounded by people who love me. We're gonna do something good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Honestly, a joy. That set was really beautiful. The story itself is just a beautiful story, and grateful to know you, grateful to be able to be inspired by you and see your incredible work as you raise your family, obviously, but also the work that you're putting into the world that will literally stand the test of time.
Oh yeah.
I want you to see Wonders, Danielle, too, because this, first of all, Huriyyah is very funny. Okay, I'm sure we know from this conversation, but that humor finds its way into all of her films. So I've got to get you to see Wonders as well, because that one's very.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link.
Please do, because I'm ready. I'm over here watching K-dramas. I need to come back to reality, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
I love it. All right,
Well,
Huriyyah.
Wonders is about a little baby that poops gold nuggets. So I don't know how.
I would love it. Listen, no, I love
Uh,
I love a wonder, mystery, magical. I love it.
all right, beautiful. Thank you guys so much.
You're so very welcome. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our conversation with Huriyyah. I know it was a good one. You can catch us weekly on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, and feel free to leave a review.
Yes, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook to get more information, inspiration on motherhood and making things.
And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you have a question or a comment, send us an email at the ProCreatives Podcast at gmail.com. Until then, keep creating, mamas.
Later.